What is up, Tuna Ticklers? Kid Chimera here with a bit of a different sort of thing. Now, I've noticed around YouTube, as somebody who does primarily live streams, I am by no means a professional. Let me first and foremost clarify that. I am in no way a professional. I'm only some kid with 300 some odd subs, and that's not even close to anywhere near, making a living off of this level. But I do notice that a lot of other live streamers, or those who are attempting to start live streaming, don't exactly have their head in the right place. And hopefully I can share with you something that's really worked with me throughout the years, throughout the months really. I've only been doing this for like 4 months, or 5 months now. And I've been getting a pretty good amount of traction with it. So hopefully this is something I can spread around and see better quality live streams all the way around YouTube. So, YouTube Live. Basically, whenever YouTube Live was made, it was pretty much as a counterpoint to Twitch. YouTube really wanted to get into that sweet live stream market, and that's how they started up YouTube gaming, and it flopped really hard. And nowadays is really only used for specific events or for 24-hour live streams of either music or whatever popular show. But, not all of us are out there trying to make whatever cheap money we can by doing those sort of live streams, those cheap views, and we actually want to produce some sort of quality content. Well, I'm here today to help you out with that, and I guess first and foremost, since YouTube gaming was made as a counterpoint to Twitch, I'll go ahead and start out by explaining some differences that we have to Twitch, as well as, the general advantages. First of all, our best advantage that we have over Twitch is the fact that we're able to set thumbnails. Thumbnails are essential to drawing any sort of audience, as well as convey in one quick image your professionalism of your stream. Whenever someone sees a good quality thumbnail, they know that they are going to more than likely see a good quality stream. So if you're ever making a thumbnail, honestly, if I can make a suggestion, always make thumbnails for your streams. That is something that is essential whenever you're streaming on the YouTube. Second of all, you've got easier exposure. On Twitch is designed to where you go look for a game, say League of Legends, and up at the very top, as soon as someone hits League of Legends, they're immediately going to see the top people of League of Legends. They're going to see people with already 14,000 viewers, 15, 200, well, not 200,000, but that's absurd. That's like LCS numbers. But either ways, LCS would be up top. And then if they were to find someone who just started, you would have to go down, 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 and this is competing against thousands of people. Whereas on YouTube, the search algorithm works in a way to where if someone searches League of Legends, you have a chance of coming up depending on specific things. But obviously, as you stream more and more League of Legends, you are more and more likely to be found. Whereas on Twitch, it's still the same crapshoot no matter if you started a year ago versus today, you are just as likely as ever. It depends on your viewership. That's honestly how it is. And to get more viewers, you'd have to have more exposure on the front page. It's hard to do that. Third of all, and this is something that is entirely unique to YouTube, something that that is not replicated by Twitch in any sort of way, is the fact that your audience is a lot easier to call. Now, when you're on Twitch, if somebody goes live and they're following you, or if you're following them, they receive an email. They have an email that's sent out saying, hey, this person went live. Whereas on YouTube, you can have it to where if somebody subscribed to you, which again is free, someone subscribed to you, you will show up in their subscription box anytime that you set up a stream schedule saying I stream at 8 o'clock. And you make sure you do that beforehand. You do it 8 o'clock and you can set a little bell notification. That way if they ring the bell on your channel, they will get a notification, as well as the fact that you will show up in their subscription box with how long until your stream shows up. It is honestly the best feature about YouTube that sets us apart, and it is absolutely amazing. Take advantage of that if you can. And we'll go into scheduling later. Fourth, and more than as well as a culmination of all of this, is that if you get big on YouTube, you are not only expected to stream. To go into that, Twitch is known for its streaming. It does have a video platform, however the video platform is underdeveloped and still kind of being worked with. But with YouTube, the live portion is very much underdeveloped. However, people are there for videos as well. So you can honestly make you can grow really fast quickly if you do live streams as well as produce regular video content. And as such, if you decide to drop live streaming and just make videos, you got the option. If you don't want to make videos and you just want to keep live streaming, you've got the option. That's the thing, is that you've got options with YouTube. Now, I'm not saying that YouTube is better than Twitch in any way. I'm just saying the differences between the two. Just a reminder. Let's go into something that I think needs to be discussed a little bit more with the YouTube. If you were to take live streaming seriously, and this is across YouTube or Twitch, we have to go over some key components here. First and foremost is the classic 51% of a video is audio, actually. And let me go into that a little bit. Audio is kind of the thing to where people hear a decent quality. Now, you can honestly just have a halfway decent microphone. A Blue Yeti's been working for me. Obviously, I want to upgrade as I go further. But where it stands, you want to invest into a decent mic. That is something that you need to prioritize if you plan to live stream. Unless, of course, you try to make some sort of gimmick where you don't, but we'll go into that later. Where it stands right now, audio is paramount. It is the essential part of a live stream to where your audience can hear you clearly and you're able to speak without too much of an effort, and you'll be able to get your point across and hold an entertaining live stream. That's really the point of it. Basically, when I say that it's 51% of a video, I'm saying that you can watch a video with terrible quality but decent sound and get through it. Meanwhile, if you watch a good-looking video but the sound is all washed out, music's too loud, or just not mixed properly, you're going to drop it, and that's how it is with most people. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing your live streams. Another thing you have to keep note is video quality. A lot of people are into very high quality streams, or at least decently quality streams. I mean, really, 720p is a very affordable and easy to make number. Honestly, though, it's a bit of a research on that one, so you're going to have to look into your various bit rates as well as internet quality to ensure that you have a decent video quality. And there's ways to work around it as well, but honestly, it's something that you do need to constantly improve on and research in. That's a big portion of it, is in fact the research. Also, another thing that you need to take in mind anytime you stream, whether it be a different game or something or the other, is smart layout decisions. When it comes to it, it's a very big game of psychology. Where do you set your web camera? Where do you put the game? How big do you make the game? How big do you make your web camera? Is there any sort of other bells and whistles that you want? Do you want a general layout or do you not? Honestly, that's up to your strengths. That's however you want it to be. But regardless, everything you do as far as your layout goes has to have at least some sort of intention if you really want to get somewhere. Now, honestly, web camera isn't exactly essential. I mean, obviously, it's very nice. People react to faces better. There's a whole psychology called gestaltism to where people look for faces and things like the face of Virgin Mary on a toast in that episode of It's Always Sunny where they found the Virgin Mary in the water damage. Faces are very important. It's one of the first things that the human mind is taught to recognize at birth. And as such, it is very essential and it's like basics when it comes to it. You can go without a web camera, but a big thing I need to warn is that you more than likely will have a harder time with it. That's not a bad thing. There are plenty of people out there who are huge and they don't have web cameras. For example, Guns Blazing, YouTube Dual Link streamer, great guy. Cryotic, he is over 2 million subs on YouTube, never once showed his face, just out of his own personal reasons. Another great guy who does not use web camera. Just so you know, it is a little bit harder. Now that we got the bare essentials out of the way, the audio, the video, and the layout, we got to go on to the more finer touches, if you will. And these are essential if you want live streaming to be, like if you want to make this a career path of yours, these are things that you're going to have to take into consideration and spend quite a bit of time thinking. So let's go ahead and go into the first thing of all, that is branding. Branding is essentially whenever someone sees your name, what do they think of? What is the first thing that comes to mind? Typically when it comes to me, just using myself as an example, Kid Chimera is a branding nightmare. I've spent years, well about 2 years, thinking of a decent logo that can come with a channel icon and such. I've relied on the Alot and Meowth, and honestly I need to swap off of it because it shows unprofessionalism. It's a well done picture. But using someone else's image for your own brand is never a great idea. But my thumbnails, I get complimented day in, day out on my thumbnails. And I'm not going to lie, those only take 5 minutes to make. But they have a simple design aspect, and that's the whole vaporwave thing. And it works really well. It's noticeable, it's catchy, and it plays with a lot of, it's very eye-catching. And that's something to where people can see my thumbnails and immediately think, oh, Kid Chimera is streaming or is gonna stream. That is essential if you want to get anywhere. You have to have an identity. You need to have a brand. And of course, there are books upon books to read upon this. Business school, the whole marketing thing is all about branding. So there's obviously a lot more information out there. You just got to look for it. But those are the essentials. Next thing you really have to do is scheduling. People like a consistent schedule. We are creatures of habit. And the more frequent you can, like the more consistent you are with your schedule, the more return you will have. And it will only go up and up from there. So if you were to stream every single Monday through Friday, even just Monday through Friday, at a consistent time, just 2 or 3 hours out of every day, but you have the same start time, same end time, I guarantee you will be getting a lot more growth because people see that you are reliable and that you are someone worth investing their time and effort into, and will eventually will just keep coming back as you become a part of their routine. That is essential when you want to become a live streamer. You need to establish a routine for yourself so that way others can establish a routine around you. Next of all is playing to your strengths. Now this one is a hard one. This is something to where you have to do a lot of your looking at yourself internally, and I can't really tell you too much about that one. Really, when it comes down to it, you can be a couple of things. My friend told me there were 4, but I cannot name them off the top of my head. I'll try the best that I can. I know that you can either be funny, so if you provide some sort of entertainment quality to another person, or just the general atmosphere around your streams is something that's comical or funny, then that's something amazing. You could be good at the game. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be good at a game, but it has to be at some sort of skill to where people come in and they get that wow factor. They need that wow factor from you. Third of all is that you need to be some sort of established person with this sort of thing, to where if you were someone who makes Skyrim mods and you want to stream Skyrim, then you're able to give a lot of insight into the game, a lot of technical knowledge, as well as a bit of the creative aspect behind it, as well as a little bit of design to it. People always like to be intrigued. There's a reason why top 10 lists are massively popular. And so if you could play as somewhat of a smart person in that sort of field that you're in, you will succeed very well. And then, of course, you can also be a professional at the game. This is for those who play League of Legends professionally, those who play Overwatch professionally. It's some big stuff. But I do have a caveat on that one, and that is, if you are a professional, don't expect to play at your best at all whenever you're streaming. And that's for a reason that we can definitely go into later. But first and foremost, whenever you're reading chat, you will be taking that time away from the game. So you can't focus 100% on the game. You have to focus some of that on the chat, and as such, your performance will go down. But again, we'll go into that a little bit later. Next up is trolls. No matter where you go, anywhere in the internet, there's going to be trolls. There are going to be people out there who just don't like you for whatever reason, and you have to accept that. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, not everybody's going to like you. People are going to come in and they're going to say insulting things, and you just got to roll with it. Personally, and I mean, this isn't true for everybody, but a lot of my audience enjoys it whenever I go in on the trolls. People love roasts nowadays. It's a big thing, and they feel better for siding with you. So if someone comes in and say, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're so bad at the game," you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe your mom was so bad at raising you." You know, something like that off the top of your head, something witty. Doesn't have to be that great, and people still love it. People will love it, and maybe if you are that sort of special person who can work through yourself through a conversational situation, you can honestly turn your biggest troll into your biggest fan. There's a reason why they keep coming back, and hopefully you can find them another reason to keep coming back as well. Honestly, it's been an amazing aspect for me to where I turned people who I thought were initially trolls into huge fans. It's some good times, especially as you get to know them a bit better. You get to know the inner workings of how they go through life and why they do a lot what they do. It's honestly really refreshing and really amazing. It's some of the best stuff about this. Next of all, and this is still in the advanced requirements, again, there's a lot to think about, is your own personality. And again, it goes back to playing with your strengths. But honestly, personality is what people come back for, hopefully. You could be one of those who play one consistent game the whole time. There are people who make a living off playing The Binding of Isaac or playing Overwatch. But what separates you from anybody else who plays those sort of games will be your personality. Again, it could go back that you're comical, it could go back that you're smart, could come back to a number of things. But personality is a massive portion of the things where it separates you from everyone else, as well as, just get to do what you need to do. Largely, for the most part, your personality is something that you have to develop. It's something that you have to work, and it's something that you just keep going with every day. It could be yourself. It could be a character that you play. It's up to you ultimately, but it's something that you have to do a lot of internal work for. And lastly, on this professional advanced requirements is getting to know your audience. Like I said, if you're setting a routine for yourself and other people are setting a routine around you, you want to get to know the people who keep coming in for you, especially if they provide a lot of support as you get more and more successful and live streams become more of a career path for you. You want to know those who are showing up and who are helping you by helping them get entertained. You know what I mean? In a way, to where you're able to discuss with them things about their lives and ideally remember their names, their likes, their dislikes, what's going on in their life, and being a part of that life. Because it's just like making friends. It's just like making friends off of AOL AIM and a whole bunch of older stuff, to where you get to know your audience very well. Obviously, it will get more and more difficult as you get bigger and bigger, but keeping those who helped you get started is very fun, and it is very nice. And you get to meet a lot of interesting people and a whole lot of perspectives that you can never imagine, who are living in places you'll probably never even be in your whole life. So honestly, personally to me, I say that a lot, honestly, personally. But personally to me, I think that is the most fun aspect of this whole live streaming portion, is getting to know people who have life experiences radically different than your own and will be supporting you. And for some strange reason, they just like you a lot. They like the gumption. They like the seedy pants. They like a lot of things. But getting to know them is something that you definitely want to do if you want to see yourself take this as a career path. Now that we got the bare necessities and the bigger bare necessities out of the way, we can go into what I dub as the 3 big rules of streaming. The 3 big rules of streaming. These rules can never be broken if you want to keep any sort of credentials as a live streamer. We'll go into the first one. And the first one is really obvious. It is that your audience comes first. There's a difference between playing a game for yourself and playing a game for a live stream. Anybody who's ever witnessed a live stream can tell you that. Getting to know your audience best is essential, because basically it's like playing a game with a group of friends. If you were to play a game like play Mario Kart with a group of friends, Mario Karty is the next Mario franchise they're working on, don't worry about that. But Mario Party with a group of friends, but you never talk, or like that, then nobody would ever invite you back to play Mario Party, because you got to get to know everybody else around you, and you get to bond together through the experiences that you have, that you get to felicitate, that's the word. Felicitate around you, and everybody gets to know you better. But the audience comes first. Anytime anybody says anything, you treat that like gold. That is one of the first priorities that you have. The game can go to the side. You're already not doing that great anyways because you're focusing on chat, so you might as well focus on chat even more and get to know them even better. Second of all is to be, and I put parentheses around this, mostly positive. Now, there has been thousands of streams where I've been to, and I'm not really that much of a live stream frequenter, but there are a lot of streams I've been to where people are complaining about the game, which some people are into. That's totally fine as long as it's not like an overbearing amount. Or some people are complaining about something that is out of their control, be it the amount of viewers that they have. That is a nasty thing. You should never do that if you're a streamer, to where you're complaining that nobody's even talking. That's something, again, you don't address. You be largely positive about what's going on. You talk about like, hey, you just keep the conversation rolling. As well as whenever somebody gives you a controversial opinion, and as a live streamer, you are the person that a lot of people look up to in some way or another, like not like, your word is gospel or anything, but in a way to where they respect your opinion very much. When it comes to being, somebody confronts you with an opinion that they wholeheartedly believe, especially if it's like political, you find one good thing you like about what they offered. Like, say it's something like, well, I can't really go into specifics, but it's just like, say, President Donald Trump. That's a controversial topic nowadays, and some people like him, some people hate him. I will not offer my opinion on that. But someone says, don't you think that Donald Trump is the best president ever? How would you respond? You can respond wholesomely, like if you truly believe that Donald Trump is a great president, then you can honestly give your opinion. Say, like, I think that he is a good mover when it comes to the political stuff. That's fine. But say you are not of that variety. Say it's something else that you don't believe. Find that one good thing to talk about and just push it out as fast as you can and then change topics. So if someone says, like, Donald Trump's the best president ever, you'd be like, well, I like the way that he has shaken up the political sphere. And then you can move on to the next conversation topic. That way it's less awkward for you, less awkward for them, and it's a generally positive atmosphere. You're no longer going on about political views. You're not going on about, other people's way of life. Everybody has opinions, and we all should have the right to have those. And that should be a good mindset that you have while streaming, or even being a stream viewer. And then, of course, the last of the big 3 rules is to be professional. If you want to conduct yourself as if this was a business, you need to treat this like it was. Treat like a boss is watching you and every single thing that you do, and roll with it. So this means maintaining a good amount of time to where maintaining a good time, stream times, make sure everything's going well, especially pre-prep beforehand. That way there's less likely for like some sort of crazy mishap to happen. As well as maintaining the stream time to where it's beneficial for both you and also your viewers. So that means less downtime, where if you do have to make an emergency, like you have to go to the bathroom or you have to grab food, and especially at long streams, that happens. You make sure you let everybody know, hey, I'm going to be gone 2 minutes. And you can leave the live stream on for that time. But if it's over 15 minutes or for an indefinite amount of time, then you're going to have to end the stream there. And you can pick it back up whenever it's done, but you have to notify, like, don't just be like, I'm going to go get dinner in the other room after you have, like, 7-10 people in your stream, and then you leave, and that's it. They don't know when you're back. They don't know when you're going to be back. They don't know what you're even doing. They're just going to leave. So if you want to be somewhat professional, then you got to be professional. That's honestly the long and short of it. And also, just so you know, if you do well on live streams and you start making quite a bit amount of money, there's a specific threshold. I'll go into that as another video. Then you will be treated as a business, and as such, you should treat this as a small business. So those are the 3 big rules, but it comes down to the one last big thing that surmises all of this and culminates it and puts it together. And that's to be original. Being original is essential in everything in life. It is essential in business. It is essential in art. It is essential in anything. You name it. Pick it. Nobody's gone anywhere without being at least somewhat original. You can look at how the vlogging genre has evolved throughout the years on YouTube. You can look at how paintings have changed over time. You can look how music has changed over time. You have to bring something to the table that is different than everybody else. You could play games blindfolded. You could play games with different peripherals. So, like, Doomfist with a boxing glove. I've seen that. It's interesting. It draws in people. And that's what you want to do. That should be something that should be always on the forefront of your mind, is how can I be original? How do I shake things up? How do I rock the boat? It could be in the big 3. You could focus on one of the big 3 and let that be your modus operandi and run with it. It could be over any sort of the advanced requirements. You can have really good graphic design and work that in your streams and make it look really nice and technical. That could be something that separates you. It could be something minute. It could be how you use different audio manipulations and change up voices for whenever you're reading on your stream or anything like that. Being original is the lifeblood, especially as you become a business, to where every sort of business, one of the biggest things you got to do is innovate. And when it comes to live streams, you're also going to have to innovate. So those of you who are not creative, those of you who don't think you can shell out enough to at least get your stuff to the minimum requirement, the minimal technical requirement, the minimal personality requirement, then I have to say that live streaming may or may not be for you. Now, by that, I offer you a challenge. If you are technically disabled on that, or disinclined, or however you want to phrase that, or if you are working on your personality, trying to figuring out who you are, but you still feel like you can live stream despite everything that I said, do it. I challenge you. Get out there and go with it. Don't let anything stop you. Don't think like, oh, I don't have a good microphone, I can't start streaming. Stream today, stream tomorrow, stream the day after that. Because honestly, getting started is the hardest part. And if you can get out there and you can start working immediately on your dreams, the sooner you're going to reach them. Don't let excuses hold you back in any way, shape, or form, because those will only leave you exactly where you are now. And with that, I'm Kid Chimera. This was some of the advice that I found throughout 5 months of streaming, and I hope that you've at least got something out of it as a viewer or as a live streamer. Hopefully that you can go out there and make some more quality content for wonderful people out there to watch. And I hope you'll have a wonderful day. I'll catch you later.